Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Retaliator. So, the Retaliator um, was first released in the United States back in 1989. It included the pilot Updrift. The Retaliator was unfortunately discontinued in 1991, though. This is a bomb dropping rescue chopper. Uh, Looking at everything here, we do have a version 1 of Updraft from back in 1990. And then unfortunately, he was discontinued in 91. And then we get on down to our pictures here that we have at yojo.com. And without them, we wouldn't have. Oh, come on. Computer doesn't want to work well with me this morning. All right. Um, Without yojo.com, we wouldn't have half the stuff that we have here because I really rely on them to have the pictures and most importantly, some of the schematics that we use to try and come up with what this machine was really intended for. So looking at what we have here is we do have a combat chopper, but a light kind of combat transport here, because we do have a winch underneath here, and we also have a grabber arm, which was used for grabbing Joes in times of needing a rescue or whatever. You can quickly grab them on the run. Probably wouldn't be the best way to be picked up and gone, but it's a possibility. Um, and I'll even go as far as saying that some of the ideas here even go back to Vietnam, where they would have like a balloon or something like that go up, and you would have a plane with a kind of V cage in the front that could actually collect that balloon and then hoist somebody out of a dangerous situation uh, with a little bit of a jolt and a little bit of rocking around, but you can get them out safely. So as we get towards the rear of the craft, you do see the grabber arm, and this all hinges here, and we will see that here shortly. But as far as combat capabilities, we did the Locust, and this is not that far off from what the Locust gave us. It's just that this is now giving us the extra transportation capability. So, doing stats for this and looking at this, that is kind of what I determined that it really would fit in. Seeing that we do have bombs that are being dropped out of here, similar to that as the Locust, but we do have our winch and we have our grabber arm, which is positioned back here. So, an interesting take on a helicopter and the capabilities that are possible as we flip all the way around here. All right. So looking at everything else, the easily broken and or lost pieces, the orange helicopter blade tips, the 9 gray bombs, 4 gray missiles, and 2 gray seatbelts are easily lost. Now, I didn't realize that this was actually supposed to be able to carry 2 people, so we will get that changed. And I didn't know how many bombs, or I didn't even see missiles on here, so I will add on missiles here when we get into our stats. Trying to make sure I keep everything as canon as I can, although I do admit there are times where I have changed it just a little here and there, and I do explain why I do make those changes. We do have pictures of this being done in the DIC cartoon, as well as having a picture here from the old commercial. Let's see, there's no variations of the Retaliator known to yojo.com. The vehicle construction was not retooled or anything for anything else. And again, kind of showing the price as things kind of increase a little bit as time goes on here. This is $24.49, so just under the $25 mark, where, 6 years earlier, this probably would have been closer to maybe $12. The price of things have kind of gone up at this point, so it just is what it kind of is. So, all right, with that, we'll transition and then we'll get on over to our stats. All right, so looking at the Retaliator here in our stats. Uh, whoops, I, I seem to have changed something a little bit farther than what I was thinking I was going to. This is not going to be 350 feet. This is only meant to be about 35 feet long. Adding that longer tail onto there for our cargo and everything else. This is, again, going to be at speed or scale. We have a crew of 2 with 1 passenger on the grabber arm. I don't have anyone listed as being on the skid. Seeing that we have the machine guns there, I don't think that would feel too good for anyone standing on the skids. All right, so our cargo capacity inside the cockpit is going to be about 45 kilograms. Uh, we're going to have full coverage here. I do have something listed below here. We have altitude of about 4 kilometers up. Maneuverability, I kept that about a 3D. Movement, I changed that so it represents something I think a little bit better. We have a speed of about 200 miles an hour or 321 kilometers an hour. Body strength, I beefed it up a little bit. I figured if we're hauling cargo, sometimes we're going to get into some jostling with the cargo itself. Things might bump around a little bit, so we wanted a little bit stronger. So we have that at a 4D. Now, going through the weapons that we have a front cannon that's in between the skids. I listed that as a heavy blaster cannon. That's going to be a fire control of 2D and a damage of 60. We also have 2 twin blaster cannons. These would be considered fire linked, and that's going to be a 7D damage. Let's see, with the 2D fire control, we have the 9 directional bombs, the same that we had on the Locust. So that's going to be here listed for 7D damage, 2D for fire control, and we have 4 missiles. These are our standard missiles at Starfighter scale, 7D damage per missile. Now, adding on here, and sure as I had it, but somehow I deleted it when I was kind of adding the weapons on, so I do apologize. So let's get this written in here because I do want this. We have a lift capacity uh, of 1,000 pounds. Now, 1,000 pounds isn't all that much, and I realize that, but seeing that this is a lighter attack chopper plus a cargo helicopter, I think 1,000 pounds is kind of worth it. If you think I'm wrong and you think that needs to be up, by all means, raise that up to what you feel you need it to be. I'm just kind of listing it here this way mainly because I think we need something not quite what we would get from a lot of the other. Trying to make sure I'm keeping this all in the right scale here. Um, there we go. I think of like the old Huey. We'd be able to lift up a Jeep or whatever else. And I just don't know if I should list this at about something similar. Maybe, take it up to about 2,000 pounds or not, because the old Willys Jeeps were fairly light. I do not know exactly how heavy the modern Humvee is at. But there again, the helicopters we're using for that are a little bit bigger. The rotor blades on this are not overly huge. So if I keep this as a light transport helicopter as well as a combat helicopter, I think that fits the bill a little bit better. That's my reasoning. As always, if you feel that this needs to be changed, by all means, change it. And we'll just kind of go from there. So that's the stats that we have here today. I do want to let you know I've put everything onto the all of our stats up to this one. This one is not on there. Everything else is now on a picture format and is being put up into posts. So if you're interested in any of these, it is listed up in the posts so that way you can view them, save them, print them off, whatever you need to do. Uh, if playing this as a role playing game interests you and you like the stats, and again, if you like the base of it and you need to change it, go change it, make it yours. This is all for fun, and that's the way I hope to keep it. So, with that, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's always wonderful having you here. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.